What is going on, everybody? This is episode 141 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my vibes oft co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
My vibes are perfectly on. What is up, crisis actors? It's Mary.
She's lying. She said the vibes were off.
Oh. You're lying.
We're both lying. or maybe we're both telling the truth. We may never know.
Also, I brought my magic to
What?
bring Dane today.
Yes. By the way, we have two guests today. Our first is our Wednesday regular. Please introduce yourself.
That's right. I am Sour Patch Lids. I'm from Timcast IRL, and I have to say that the vibes in the studio are they're very vibes. There's a lot of vibes going on here.
They're not
You've got
on.
vibes. I've got vibes.
Are they good?
Weird vibes. They're just there.
They're not on. They're not off. They're just vibes.
They're just there.
They're just vibes. And the person with the other vibes is the guy next to me. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, everyone. Dane Font here, marketing man extraordinaire, and the patron saint of White Boy Summer.
Yes.
I want to point out that I almost said, "Please introduce yourself, please," which is one of those things that you dread when you do a show like this.
Please
when I was,
introduce yourself, please.
have you ever seen like the
Much respect.
memes, like where you like when you're it's like a guy talking to a waiter. And the guy's like,
That
"How's
is
how's your food?" And he's like, "I hope you enjoy your meal." And he goes, "You too," to the
Right.
waiter.
That's a Brian Regan bit.
Yeah, okay.
Enjoy your flight. You too.
Yeah.
No.
Everyone
not
hates
flying
that?
anywhere. Yes.
Okay. Earlier, I was on the phone making a doctor's appointment, and she says, "All right, have a good day, Brett." I'm like, I was like, "You guys have a good day too," to like one person.
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, you have a good one too, guys." And I'm like, "What?"
Could be worse.
Luckily, I had to call back.
You're
for
always
something.
addressing an audience.
Yes.
Fame changed you, Brett.
It's true. It changed you. I see how it is.
Solid.
Luckily, I had to call back to fix like some information that she got wrong. So I got a rebound, like a redo, and I got it right
There
the
you
second time around.
go.
So that was good.
That's everyone wants.
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We are going to talk about the massive problem that is being given into Warner Brothers and DC because Ezra Miller and Amber Heard are just walking disaster zones that are, the Ezra Miller one would be funny if it wasn't so evil and awful, and the Amber Heard one is, to be honest, just really funny. We are going to talk about Charlie Sheen and the fact that Charlie Sheen's daughter is doing
Thank you.
spicy content. She is
Yes.
and he's arguing with it. Mary has her own strong opinions on this. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And we are also going to talk about Hollywood and guns because they want to lecture you.
Oh, goody.
This is not a gun control discussion. This is just Hollywood making a bunch of points that I believe are utterly ridiculous.
You mean the people protected by heavily armed security guards 24/7? Cool.
This is more about how they're actually portrayed in their movies and stuff like that. So there's a lot of have your cake and eat it too here that I want to talk about. So we got that. We got Podluck. We got a bunch of stuff. So if you guys are ready, we will just get right into it. Are we ready, Mary?
We're ready.
Lydia?
Ready?
I almost called you Linda. I'm so glad I
Close
did that.
enough.
Lydia,
No,
you
we're
ready?
Yep.
Dane?
I believe so.
All right. So this one says Aquaman. It says Amber Heard denies being cut from Aquaman 2, calls recasting claims slightly insane. We have now gone back and forth on this will she, won't she thing with Amber Heard with Aquaman for like 2 weeks now, to the point where there had to be other stuff to talk about to even make a video about it because it just makes me roll my eyes. But first it was like they were like, she's got her segments cut down to like just 10 minutes. Then they're like, no, wait, she's cut out entirely. No, wait, she's not just in it for 10 minutes. She's in it for 20 minutes. She's in it for all the minutes.
According to a trusted source. So what's even the point of talking about it?
Exactly. So this one says, this is from her interview, and she says basically that it's slightly insane that people would think that she's being recast in it.
She would know insane.
And she says,
It's true. She
Ooh,
would.
ow.
It's true. After
Yesterday
that,
it was
holy cow.
Lizzo, and today it's
Yeah,
Amber Heard.
man.
I felt it.
roast this lady.
Lydia
Deserves it.
Sascam.
Yes,
Like,
let's go.
It says Amber Heard denied being cut from Aquaman 2 and called recasting rumors slightly insane after reports surfaced that she was out of the Warner Brothers film following the Johnny Depp defamation trial. The rumor mill will continues as it has from day one, inaccurate, insensitive, and slightly insane. Heard's representative told Fox News Digital. Heard portrayed Mara in the film alongside Jason Momoa, Dolph Lundgren, and William Dafoe. Warner Brothers decided to recast Amber Heard's role after screen testing the movie. They are going to be doing reshoots with Jason Momoa and Nicole Kidman, sources just told Jared. That's the the guy from the publication. I don't buy that for 1 second. An insider later revealed that the publication that Amber Heard is not only completely cut from the film, she still has a very small role. Has not been completely cut from the film. She still has a very small role.
Wow,
I don't buy that
today.
she's been cut at all. For her, I actually find this to be like perfect marketing for them. Like I don't think that the trial is just, she's not going to be reviled so much that people won't go see it, but they will be interested enough. You know, there's people like us who pay very close attention, who, like somebody who's more emotionally linked to this might boycott it, I guess. But a lot of it is like, you know, I'm not going to that movie to see her anyways. So she'll bring in certain spectators just by virtue of curiosity. Ezra Miller, however, is another story. And the funny thing about this is that this Daily Beast article somehow Ezra Miller is proving that Amber Heard is being mistreated by the public.
What?
Though what it really is literally just they took one phrase, misinterpreted the whole thing, and wrote an article about it.
That
But-
sounds like them.
Before we get
We
into
love
that,
journalism, don't we? Vaughn?
Yes.
why would anyone ever watch Aquaman for any reason outside of Amber Heard?
First Aquaman movie's fun.
I
know,
mean,
but-
I heard that it was super popular. It was just a hit.
It made almost $1 billion.
But-
It made $1 billion. If you
Who
count
had an
overseas.
Aquaman poster in their house?
Nobody. Well, Aquaman also looks nothing like the Aquaman in the comic. I've been
Right.
rewatching Young Justice, and Aqua Lad is cooler than Aquaman.
Aquaman looks like Nick.
Kind of
Does he?
does.
Really?
He's got
Really
blonde.
does.
He's got the. Yeah,
Oh,
he's got the.
he does.
He's got
You're
the.
right. You're right.
Nick's cooler though.
Much
Nick is
cooler.
cooler than regular Aquaman in
For
the comics.
sure.
So this is basically, they get into the nitty gritty of what's going on with Ezra Miller here. They talk about how, if you guys remember, it's Dakota Iron Eyes. Basically, the rumors here is that he groomed her from the age of 12 years old, and he flew her and a bunch of people from her
Her reservation,
to
Standing
London.
Rock.
That was a little bit different. Originally, they made it seem as if he flew just her
Yeah.
to
Oh, okay.
London.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
different.
more of a lie of omission, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I feel like it's just as bad because he was inviting a group of people only to create a pretense to be with her.
And they also point in here where they say, okay, we'll get to the creepy part that they mention in here, but it says,
Yeah.
according to sources from in Variety, Warner Brothers, which owns DC Comics, is barreling ahead with The Flash and plans on giving the film the full superhero treatment, the full blockbuster treatment, despite the most recent allegations made by Chase Iron Eyes and Sarah Jumping Eagle that Miller groomed their 18-year-old daughter, environmental activist Dakota Iron Eyes, from the age of 12 when Miller was already 23 years old. Last week, Iron Eye's parents requested a protective order for their daughter from the Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Court, accusing Miller of using drugs, violence, and intimidation to control and manipulate her. We do know that they had that order was approved, but they're not able to find Ezra Miller. And
He's literally on the
he's
run from the law.
But is that on the run? Technically, he's just not somewhere where they can. It's like it would be the same thing as like trying to serve someone a subpoena and you can't find them. It's not the same thing as arresting someone. They're there to serve them a letter that says you can't go by Dakota Iron Eyes. They just can't find him. Right?
I mean, do they
That's different than
do they have
order
the
of
ability
arrest.
to report
True,
her
yeah.
missing?
But she's an adult. They can't.
You can't.
You can
technically-
report
I think you
an
can report an
adult
adult
missing.
missing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can they? Okay. But is this? She could then come out and say, "I'm not missing. I'm fine," and they wouldn't be able to do anything. I'm assuming, right?
I don't know.
So we're going to get into this part where it says he befriend. Okay. Among other accusations, they claim that Miller befriended their daughter in 2016 while visiting the Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota, and later flew her and her members of the tribe to London to visit the set of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in 2017, where Miller attempted to share a bed with Iron Eyes, who was 14
Bro.
at the time.
No.
Bruh.
Come on.
They also said that he allegedly gave her marijuana, alcohol, and LSD.
And LSD.
Come on.
Yikes.
LSD?
But
At 14.
So it says
Yeah.
Warner, and here's where we get into the more opinionated parts of the article, where they're basically saying that because of, it says, despite the disturbing new claims against Miller, Warner Brothers is apparently counting on the possibility that Miller will avoid legal consequences and stay out of trouble leading up to the Flash's release, according to Variety. The
Sure he
source
will.
added that it would cost too much money to completely scrap the project. That's why this is different. It is a lot different to take out a side character in Aquaman than it is to take out a dude who's
True,
literally
true.
in every scene of the movie. So that's not even really a fair comparison. The fairest comparison is that they're both horrible. Together, they make for horrible PR. None of the Marvel people are over here. Like, and I don't like Marvel, but like you don't hear all these stories from crazy people over there. It's just a constant swell of bad news.
I think the difference is that the spectacle around Amber Heard is going to help the movie, and because Ezra Miller is the star of his own movie.
Thank you.
They really only have the choice to do extreme damage control or to just scrap it altogether and take the loss. If anything, Amber Heard is going to help.
Yes,
for sure.
The claims initially against Ezra Miller were bad enough that I was like, they should just scrap it. Just scrap it and cut it all together.
I feel they're still that bad that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that it should just be completely scrapped altogether. I don't think they're going to do that.
Dude, Gina Carano got fired for a perhaps hyperbolic and slightly accurate tweet, and this guy is drugging 14-year-old children.
They make this about gender in this article. So it says, speaking of Heard, DC's lax handling of Miller thus far is especially eyebrow-raising given recent claims from the actress's legal team that she was almost fired from her role as Mera in DC film Aquaman 2 and barred from renegotiating her contract when she eventually signed on to the sequel due to the public scrutiny she was receiving during the legal proceedings with Depp. Her role was reportedly downsized in the sequel. Now this is the problem. They operate under the assumptions that what her lawyer said is true, even though during the trial, the DC president, Walter Hamada, literally came out and said that is not what happened. We screen tested. None of the executive liked her chemistry with Jason Momoa. Therefore, if they find that it's lacking and that it's not going to add to the sequel, maybe they'll keep her around. But it doesn't give you the bargaining power that comes with people really connecting with those two together on screen.
Right, exactly.
So Walter Hamada rebutted that claim that the studio considered letting Heard go because of lack of chemistry between her and co-star Jason Momoa. So he's saying that it's because of the chemistry. Amber Heard's lawyer is saying it's because of the ongoing scrutiny with Johnny Depp. All we can do is say that maybe one is right, maybe the other is right, but it has nothing to do with Ezra Miller. They're just bad at handling their star. They're just bad at picking people to star in these movies. And I think that you're right, that Amber Heard will probably at the very least help first week. I do wonder sometimes because of how important word of mouth has become, that if she has left a bad taste in people's mouths and they go and see it and she's bad, that it will really hurt the long-term viability of the film.
I think it's truly only as good as the memes. If the memes like week 1 are fire, people are gonna want to see the moment that like provoked the meme.
Yep,
is my guess.
That's a good point.
They need to put enough of Amber Heard in Aquaman 2 where people can clip it and make funny edits.
Right.
I think that this is like a W for Warner Brothers and an L for DC.
Yeah.
But it's unlucky timing.
Aquaman 2 gets Michael Keaton Batman, more Amber Heard rumored in the DCEU reboot. So it says test screenings are apparently revealing big changes for the sequel that will tie into the Flash's movie with Ezra Miller. So it says it claims that big changes are in store for Aquaman 2, which now includes the addition of Michael Keaton as Batman as part of what appears to be a DCEU reboot. As reported earlier, more of Amber Heard as Mera. We talked about that the other day. The info comes via what is said to be the latest test screenings from Aquaman 2. I would love to know how they vet these people because stuff keeps getting out, or if it's just the studio cleverly leaking stuff to keep it in the news, in which case, good on you, sir.
It's all a PR
you win
stunt.
because we're clearly falling for it and still talking about it. So it says, as things stand right now, Aquaman 2 and Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom gets released on March 17th, 2023, and The Flash on June 23rd, 2023. So it's possible for the release dates to swap because they want to include Michael Keaton in Aquaman 2, which would make his appearance in The Flash make sense chronologically.
It's going to be a great year for movies.
Well, it's like everyone's going to be talking about anything but the movie. Like, it has to kind of Aquaman 1 was perfectly fine. And it made a lot of money, but nobody remembers it. This movie has to actually now be great, because if it's anything less than great...
I mean, I don't think anyone was planning on Aquaman or its sequel to have longevity.
No?
It's just about whether it can, hit when it's in theaters, and that's it.
So is this
I don't know anyone who has seen Aquaman
Me neither. What does he do? Like break into SeaWorlds?
Is that like does that even have a fan base? Right. I think people are just going to go. Yeah. Like,
is this a double standard? Is this a double standard with Ezra Miller and Amber Heard? Is there
based on
is it because somebody pointed out, somebody said it's because she's a woman and he's LGBTQIA.
Incorrect.
Technically she is LGBTQIA as well. She's bisexual. Yes. She's been in she actually had one of her exes claimed abuse so that she abused her. So another L for Amber Heard there. That's you can't win them all.
Sorry, Amber.
So
I think that DC may have projected that it was good marketing for Ezra Miller to be like this androgynous looking trendy
they them
identity marker, but that has backfired on them
a little bit.
No, honestly, because he's
majorly
in the movie in the Snyder cut of the Justice League. You see him save Iris West in a scene, and all I can think of now is just him. Like if this was in a bar, he'd just be punching her. Or throwing a chair at her.
Yep.
And that's what would end up happening. So I can't help it.
It's just such the obvious stereotype of like using that identity as a distraction from the type of person you are and like your issues. The fact that you can't integrate into society as a normal person.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not violent, you're a bigot.
So
right.
At this point, what do they even have to do to pull that movie? They can't just do the thing like with Armie Hammer where they just lessen the marketing for him. He is the whole movie. Yeah. This isn't Death on the Nile.
I don't know what to say, because if they release the movie, I'm watching it.
I know.
Like, I'm a bad person.
I already know. It's
like,
fine.
I will watch the movie.
And that's why we love you.
Because it's a spectacle.
Well, and we have
that.
to. Like,
and we're obviously going to review it and everything like that. We get a pass.
I do think that it's different
we get a pass for that,
Yeah,
right?
you do. That's true. That's fair. You have to review it. I think it's different for Ezra Miller because she was a minor when he was first fooling around with her. That's messed up.
Pre-teen.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
12.
Gross.
In the first article, they tried to soften it by saying like when she was like a tween and he was in his early 20s. I'm like, no, she was 12 and he was 23. Like that's 23. Not like no. Like,
I don't even like when they say he befriended her because
you don't befriend 12-year-olds.
You're a 23-year-old man. You don't befriend 12-year-old girls.
What did he do? Get her a Happy Meal and some crayons?
Yes,
what the hell?
Also, by the way, there's a petition calling for the ACLU to dump Amber Heard as an ambassador.
They haven't yet?
That's what isn't that insane?
Unbelievable.
Maybe it's just like they don't want to bring more attention to it by making some kind of announcement.
Like her next segment, it's literally her as an ambassador to just not be her. Where they play the tape.
Can we have a not Amber Heard foundation?
Yes.
They play the tape where she's like, go ahead, Johnny. Tell everyone you're a domestic abuse victim and see who believes you. Mm-hmm. Don't be Amber Heard. Don't be like me. Don't be like me.
That'd be a great PSA.
Learn from my mistakes.
So 100. It shows you how little people care about the ACLU. The remove Amber Heard from Aquaman signatures was like 4.5 million. They're like, the ACLU. We don't give a crap about the ACLU.
Cares about them,
did you guys see her last interview?
No.
Yeah, I did.
It's obviously like all woke and pandering is like
the way she talks is like very bothersome to me.
The guy who made people believe that you can have scissors on your.
You can have scissors for fingers, and then the look on her face was like,
got him.
Legitimately, like,
yeah.
she
I went there.
Yeah,
what are you gonna say?
That's right.
What are you gonna say back? I just gotcha.
Checkmate atheist is like, she really thinks
take that, you incels.
That the reason that like she lost like a court case is because people think that Johnny Depp actually has scissors for hands. Like, imagine the logic though. Is like, yeah, well, he is abusive, but
thank you.
Scissors for hands is quite impressive.
Well, she thinks everyone else interprets life as movies the same way that she does, and you can see in her face and just the cadence of her speech that she like mythologizes every waking moment into some like cinematic. Like, it's just deranged. Like, it's deranged how detached from reality she is. That she's like making a face like that as if
she acts as if there's like a cut that's about to happen to a close up, and there's no close up. It's just a single camera.
And it's just her looking like.
I don't think she realizes just how much work goes into making actors look good on set. Like between camera angles, color grading, music. Like she's making that comment and waiting for the music to swell, and no music swells.
That's
and she's like,
so
"Why isn't this happening?"
Oh my god!
I cannot imagine being in the interviewer's shoes when she said that. Like, what do you even?
They probably believed her. The interviewer probably believed her.
No. The interviewer was like trying to trip her up.
Yeah.
I don't. You can't trip up somebody who isn't like even remotely like on this planet.
She's
like
not even walking. How are you gonna trip her? Seriously.
I mean, maybe she's taken like a lot of.
Nothing.
I would be taking a lot of Xanax too if I was in her place right now. I probably would.
Just don't be in the public eye.
Yeah. What did you say, Dave?
I said nothing makes me feel more at home than gorgeous women like believing lies.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Spicy take.
There was some super chats in there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh.
Got it?
I'm from Puerto Rico, so
Waffles.
it makes sense.
Yeah, true that.
Waffle Sensei says, I know some 12-year-olds with friends above the age of 18. They're called dad, uncle, grandpa.
Oh my gosh.
etc.
Yeah, exactly. Family members.
Perfect.
Older cousins.
He also says run, Barry, run, which is perfect.
That's
literally,
That's literally what it's doing.
literally Barry Allen is running from the law.
That's right.
Like this.
Where
like he's
the
climbing a ladder, basically.
I believe that's what it's like.
Clint Torres said, howdy
Thank you.
people. Hey, Lydia, heart
Hello,
eyes.
hello. Thank you.
Waffle Sensei said, is that the patron saint of White Boy Summer? Somebody
right.
pinch me.
Oh,
Yes, we brought him back.
Dane in the flesh.
He said, Lydia with the sassy pants, heart eyes.
That's correct.
Where do you buy sassy pants
Goodwill.
exactly? Goodwill.
There you
Okay,
go.
perfect.
You're welcome. Go find your own today.
He also said, I would gamble at Indian casinos, but I have a few reservations.
That's
Ew.
great.
Ha,
ha, ha,
That's
ha.
a good joke. and I'm
Dun,
stealing
dun,
it.
dun.
That's really bad.
Dur.
I love it. I
1,000
love
Foot
it.
Deep End said they can't find Miller to serve the court order. Has anyone checked Hawaii? Just putting out on APB and
At
wanted
bars.
posters in all karaoke bars and farmers
Oh my
markets.
God.
Boom, problem solved.
Dude, or like chair manufacturers, where he like maybe he's like stress testing chairs by throwing them at women across
Is he
the
known
room.
for being at a lot of farmers markets?
That
too,
was where
or-
he met the couple that had the restraining
his life
order
is
against
so
him.
weird and bad.
It's so bad on every level.
Ava Owens said, it's so weird to see the mental gymnastics to get around the fact they're grooming kids in Hollywood on the
For real.
regular. It needs to be exposed more, dude.
They're like, it's fine, that's fine.
We're just pretending everything is okay.
But don't you dare make those mean tweets, Gina Carano.
right.
That's a
Yeah,
problem.
what was her tweet? I don't know. What
She
happened with
basically
her.
said that don't hate your neighbor. Like long before the bad thing in World War II happened, they got your neighbor to hate you long before.
She said
Yeah.
we need to be friends with each other.
Yeah, basically.
To avoid civil conflict.
And
She's
people
like, can't we all
Get her
just hold
out.
hands
Yeah, right, get
and
out.
sing Kumbaya? And they're like, F
Get
you.
out. You're fired.
they're like, yeah, we don't do kumbaya in hand holding here. That's a
Apparently
problem.
not, yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited for this story.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Okay. Hollywood has a problem with how guns are used on screen, and they signed an open letter. A new
Oh.
open letter
Another
si-
petition, huh?
signed by over 200 actors, filmmakers, and producers. Doesn't ask the entertainment industry to ban guns, but be more mindful of how they're utilized.
Mark Ruffalo and Shonda Rhimes were on it,
Oh
so
my gosh, I'm out.
I don't care.
I'm out. Don't care. Opinion
Just-
discarded.
Okay, so the year is 2025. Like Hollywood somehow held past a legislation about guns in movies.
Paint the
It's
picture.
it's the next James Bond film. He pulls out a gun, he's like, "Hey, stop there!" And like the villain says, like, "Do you know those are used to shoot children in schools? How dare you!"
And he's like, oh, yes, I think I'll put this gun away and
this
take
down.
out this knife.
He sheaves his gun and he's like, "You're
Can
absolutely
we have
correct."
James Bond, but only finger guns?
Oh,
Pew,
let-
pew.
let's
Pew,
go.
Love it. Let's do it.
Okay, so this new open letter shared by the Brady campaign and signed by over 200 pretentious elitist
Yeah, yeah. I like
Okay.
this editorialization.
I sorry, I
Carry on.
editorialized. Just
Oh,
slightly.
really?
Some douchey act.
Yep. Okay.
Actors, directors, screenwriters, and producers doesn't call for a ban on guns or gun violence on screen. It's also adamant about where the responsibility for the gun violence epidemic lies. Lax gun laws supported by those politicians more afraid of losing power than saving lives. Instead, the letter suggests several ways movies and TV shows can be more mindful of how guns and gun violence are utilized, stating, "We didn't cause this problem, but we want to help fix it."
Aren't you such great people? Not only have you never caused a problem in your life.
Yes!
Wow.
Finally.
You're coming to save us all. Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
that
so
segment. They are coming to save you by showing on screen responsible gun use. I literally went through like 15 photos trying to find my favorite examples of poor trigger discipline.
Alec Baldwin springs to mind.
Yes. So the idea here is that it's remember when this happened on set, it was the gun's fault. And it was everyone's fault.
These are people who are so clueless about guns. They want to believe that everyone else is just as afraid of them.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I don't care about gun control. This isn't about politics. This is about them. This is the video game debate all over again, where we tell you that guns don't make people violent, right? But right here they say, like, let's talk about what they say. It says, it continues, as American storytellers, our goal is primarily to entertain, but we also acknowledge that stories have the power to affect change. Cultural attitudes towards smoking, drunk driving, seatbelts, and marriage equality have all evolved in due in large part to movies and television influence. It's time to take on gun safety. No. Either you're partly responsible for some of the gun violence that's been hyper romanticized in movies for tons of years, just like you're responsible for the ability to get marriage equality, seatbelts, and smoking no longer in the popularity, or none of it actually works and you're not responsible at all. You do not get to have it both ways here. You get to pick one or the other. You don't get to be both the savior of a problem you didn't cause and somebody that bitches about it.
I want to bring up a quote, actually, from a woman I respect greatly named Cher Horowitz. She said, "The Attorney General says there's too much violence on TV and that should stop. But even if you took out all the violent shows, you could still see the news. So until mankind is peaceful enough not to have violence on the news, there's no point in taking it out of shows that need it for entertainment value."
It's a good point. It's a great point.
Why wasn't she here to talk to these people?
Yeah,
she needs to talk some sense into them.
What do they want to do? Like, what do they want to do with guns? Like, they just, like, for real.
Remember, when Alec Baldwin happened, The Rock goes, "We're not going to have guns on set anymore. We're going to use rubber guns." I'm like, or you could just hire competent people that know what they're doing.
Or who don't want to murder other people.
Or somehow that gun makes it all the way to set. And live rounds.
It is awfully suspicious.
Kind of suspicious.
They do not. I'm so sick of the video game debate do these things cause violence debate. They want to have every discussion but the discussion where they're actually responsible. And here's the thing: I don't think Hollywood is responsible for gun violence. Yeah. But the idea that they are pretentious enough to sign an open letter saying that they're going to help solve a problem that they don't feel like they caused makes my hair turn prematurely gray. It does.
I'm sorry.
I can tell.
Not to mention, it would have been bad enough if I didn't know that, if I didn't have to read it as Mark Ruffalo saying this all to me,
worst.
which might be the worst part
of
all of this.
Absolutely.
I literally, you cannot make this stuff up. And the level of ego and pretentiousness is literally off the chart, and it blows my mind. So these are their suggestions. The first is to creatively model responsible gun ownership and show consequences for reckless gun use. A famous example that I was pointing out to somebody the other day, I was watching The Wire, and there's this great scene in season 3, okay, where the main cop, he literally does a scene where he's trying to figure out the angle of how a gun was shot in the scene. And what he does is they look through a window, and they see like where the bullet would have traveled, and he literally pulls his Glock from the holster and holds it up to his own face like this and does not remove the magazine or clear the chamber.
What?
And this is supposed to be a law enforcement professional who does this, let alone just a civilian who owns a firearm. If you can't even get, and to be fair, I will be fair to them, this was done in 2000 3 or 4.
So
They have been like, I see a lot less cops in shows running around with their finger on the trigger rather than outside the trigger guard. But that does not mean that they do not show.
Okay.
And what is responsible gun ownership to them?
For education on how to handle lethal weapons from their TV shows.
Stop looking to movies to tell you how to live your life.
I don't think a lack of trigger discipline on TV ever, cause someone else to mishandle a gun.
if you want to fix this problem, you're going to bring in people who know what the heck they're talking about. You're not going to listen to actors and actresses. It has nothing to do with Hollywood. It's more about people not understanding guns as a tool, not as a threat.
Did you remember when we covered the Gunu? The dude who died, and then the family had a funeral for him in a nightclub, and they propped him up.
Now, how does this tie in?
Okay, we watched a music video that he made with friends, and I saw better trigger discipline amongst a bunch of
that.
like I was watching him, like there was a dude who had like a Glock with an extended mag, and I'm like, every time he's on screen, I'm like, thank God his finger's outside that trigger guard.
Right,
There's no way this was made on this was not a union project, so there's no way they had like an armorer there making sure that this dude didn't accidentally shoot the camera. Like, can you imagine being that cameraman just pissing his pants the whole time? like I really
just like pointing it at him.
I don't know if
Alex
I don't know if
Baldwin
the
all over
cameraman cleared his. The cameraman's like, did you clear the chamber? Did you remove all the guns for the bullets
Maybe
from the
that
magazine?
music video was not made sober. Venture to guess.
Hire those kids to teach your celebrities how to use guns, because they were better at it than most of the people in your movies.
What does Mark Ruffalo think, though?
I don't care.
Know.
His face is just so punchable.
The only way this could have been worse is if it was signed by Alyssa Milano.
True.
That
I
might
your
have
name shortly. I'm genuinely
that might
surprised
have
it's not on here.
made
Or
it worse.
Meryl Streep.
Also, it's funny because they mentioned
Ashley Judd.
mentioned smoking. People still smoke. They've just infantilized our youth and make them wait till the age of 21 to do it. They just vape. It does not stop people from.
That's a new thing, by the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
The 21 age limit on
It is
cigarettes.
relatively
Okay, I was watching Mr. Robot again recently.
I love that show.
And in that show, Rami Malek's character has a serious issue with opiates, and he takes both opiates, and when he buys them, he buys Suboxone as well, so that when he runs out, he cannot withdraw.
Might not die,
Okay,
yeah.
so am I supposed to be mad at them for showing a realistic portrayal of drug use?
You will be soon.
You're like, what is it like? So is it where is the line between responsible and glorification? I don't expect them to know it. I just don't want the sanctimonious tone.
If you want to glorify any of these things, you should be allowed to, because it's your work.
When yeah, exactly. You're literally stifling the art. And like, what is this supposed to turn into? Like, it's like a story where like a guy breaks into a house and he stops really quick. He's like, "Thank God I've got my gun safely locked away in my Model TX 3000 gun safe."
Yeah,
the magazine is removed and the chamber is cleared.
Let's go.
Are we supposed to awkwardly show scenes, like silent scenes, where a character like takes out the magazine, locks away their...
Yeah.
Then they have like 3 separate safes. They put the magazine in one safe. It's just like, how are we supposed to subtly do these things?
I also love the idea that one of them's like, he's buying and he's like, "Oh, I don't need one of those regular magazines. I want one of those 10-round magazines because I need it to..." I hate Hollywood so much.
Dude,
so
honestly.
I have an interesting job because I hate most of these people. And
I think it's just like, I want to be able to share this link on my Twitter to look like a good person.
yeah.
It's their pathetic failed attempt to remain relevant in culture.
I don't recognize these names. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
don't.
Like, I only know Mark
I-
Ruffalo as like a hilariously bad tweeter.
Shonda Rhimes is the one who created Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder and
Inventing Anna.
and Inventing It, and I think Grey's Anatomy.
Yep.
And Grey's
Yep.
Anatomy. So she's a very powerful Hollywood
Yeah.
producer. J.J. Abrams, Star Wars, Star Trek,
Right.
Alias, all sorts of.
But those are the first
Lost.
3 that are listed.
Yeah.
I don't know about any of the others.
So this is one of those things where it's just full of sanctimonious douches who are telling you how to live your life. and while pretending it's the tone of like, yes, we are the good people of the world, and we're here to bring about change, but not take any responsibility for the problem.
Not only that, it's like we're here to talk about something we are incredibly misinformed about.
I have no idea.
Like we
what
have
they're talking about.
no possible comprehension what we're saying. It's like, listen, like I'm in marketing. I can't tell you the amount of times I've heard SEO used wrong.
So it says the letter offers 3 suggestions. So it says showing characters locking their guns safely and keeping them away from children. The second is to hold pre-production discussion about the ways guns are portrayed and consider alternatives that could be employed without sacrificing narrative integrity.
Look, if you didn't,
That changes nothing.
if you didn't cause the problem, you can't fix it. I'm sorry. Just generally speaking.
This is one of those things. Okay, they did this in the Halloween reboot where they're not going to let Jamie Lee Curtis's character carry an AR-15 that might actually kill Michael Myers. They give her a shotgun that runs out quickly and is absolutely useless. When there was back in like 2016, there was some incident that happened, some gun incident, and the lady who on the Blacklist, I always forget her name, but the girl from the Blacklist with James Spader, she's like, my character will no longer use an AR-15. And I'm like, you're an FBI agent. You don't get that makes no, like, you're literally sacrificing logic to virtue signal. And then I think they ended up like the next episode she's using one, so it wasn't even accurate. She just wanted the virtue signaling points. Yeah. These people, man.
They really belabored the point that they didn't create the problem.
Right, we had nothing to do with it.
But we'll help you solve it.
We got this for you.
It'd be one thing if what they're doing is like teach like actual gun safety. It's like, this is how you put it away. This is like take like trigger discipline and whatnot. Like if they were like, you know, if they weren't like super on the nose about it and like as just part of the conversation, they're teaching like actual gun discipline. But you know that's not what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like, is that a gun? I heard that's a no.
Like, guns are bad.
We don't like guns.
The last is to limit scenes including children in guns, bearing in mind that guns are now the leading cause of death for children and adolescents.
That is incorrect.
That's completely incorrect.
The leading death?
Abortion is the leading cause of children's deaths.
This is a spicy subject today.
I'm sorry. Yes, it's true. This makes me angry.
But in general, this is a spicier topic. But the thing is, I don't care about, like, they're not talking about gun law. I don't care about gun laws. I'm talking about them thinking that they're making a difference with their movies. Could anybody think of a good scenario where any of these suggestions they made, can you think of an existing franchise? Okay, James Bond is... You mentioned James Bond earlier, right? So James Bond pulls up to a guy and he's got a gun out and the guy's got a knife. He's like, well, I wouldn't want to shoot this guy when he's got a knife. And he puts his gun away and just fights the guy hand to hand when he could shoot him.
You cannot fight someone hand to hand with a knife. That is insane.
James Bond is like, I don't want another Parkland.
Oh my god!
Like, what the hell?
So this is just another example of Hollywood virtue signaling. And then we have this one. It says Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling star in Violent the Gray Man amidst woke Hollywood's demand for gun control. I don't really care about the gun control part of it. I do want to see this movie, though. I'm very excited to see this movie.
That sounds fun.
The trailer looked cool.
Yep. Yeah. I love the Russo brothers. Hopefully lots of guns and lots of bad guys being having guns used on them, because that's cool, right, Hollywood?
I just don't understand why they can make the point that movies never made a negative impact, but we can use them to fix a problem that was never caused.
That's what I'm saying.
By it, like, decide on whether you can influence people.
When Dane was here earlier and I was reading this, I was literally banging my head against the table.
He was.
Like, these people, man, like they're brazen and they do not care.
And they think like some psycho's gonna watch the movie. He's like, I'm not going to do it.
Now that I've seen this movie,
oh, Mr. Mark Ruffalo, thank you so much. Like, what the hell, dude?
Says no one ever. There was a super chat there.
Oh, was there?
There was.
Oh, Joseph said, Jung describes actors as imposters versus the artist, which moves culture forward. Why do they think their opinions hold so much weight? It makes me laugh.
I would normally say, like, it's not like they don't have a right to their opinion, but they sign an open letter, which makes it clear that they do think that their opinion is very, very important and needs to be heard.
Who is meant to respond to it?
They think that they're important because they make a lot of money. That's it. That's all. That's the only reason.
I am over it, my friend. And by the way, we're also going to talk about the Duke Nukem movie that's going in Podluck today, which is going to make all of this even funnier when we get there. But before we do that, Mary wants to talk about, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Charlie Sheen, Denise Richards, and their daughter joining OnlyFans.
Their daughter, Sammy, is 18 years old, and yesterday she decided to reveal her new explicit OnlyFans page,
as a normal, well-adjusted, 18-year-old in America would want to do.
Yeah. So she posted on Instagram and Twitter about it, with this picture of her wearing a lot of makeup. It's rather jarring. She was like wearing this bikini, and then the caption said like, "Click the link in my bio if you want to see more." Wink emoji or whatever. So Charlie Sheen does not approve.
If Charlie Sheen doesn't approve, it must be bad.
Right.
But he's not doing anything to stop it, and he's actually blaming his ex-wife, Denise Richards, for allowing this to happen under her roof. So, I don't know what to think about this, other than that they're using the situation to point blame at each other. Basically, he said that he doesn't condone it, but since he's unable to prevent it, he urged her to keep it classy, creative, and not sacrifice her integrity.
Classy OnlyFans.
Well, if you're going to show your private parts, it's best you use. Hey, I actually made this argument when Britney Spears kept posting all her weird nudes. I'm like, at least get a better camera and lighting if you're going to do that.
Have some dignity.
But if you're 18, maybe just don't post the nudes.
It's too young.
Yeah, and then her mother commented on the Instagram post in support of her, saying,
"Oh, come on,
Sammy,
man.
I will always support you and always have your back. I
guess
love you."
In public, like.
What does that mean? Like, if you
Toxic femininity.
actually support your child, then that means you stop them when they're doing something self-destructive.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't mean just blindly celebrating everything they do.
Yep.
She
Apparently
also said she's 18 years old. She told Page 6 she's 18 years old.
She can do what she wants.
She can do what she wants, basically. All I can do as a parent is guide her and trust her judgment. She makes her own choices.
Maybe she guided her. She's like, I'm going to make the paywall $14.99. And she's like, no, honey, make it $19.99.
You're worth
Yeah.
$20.
You are worth exactly $20.
Go to a Hispanic parent when you're 18 and tell them, I'm 18.
Gosh.
You can't tell me what to do. You shall be introduced to the concept of a chancleta. Right in your posterior or your face, depending on the discretion.
It's not good.
So is this just a breakdown in our social fabric?
I mean, yeah.
Well, yes.
What a leading question, Brett. He also, they both have this excuse that because she's 18, it's like thrown to the wind. She can do whatever she wants. I can't pass judgment on what she does. But like, that's just a cop-out for the fact that you're neglectful, and she's clearly doing something to cry for help. Some act of rebellion, like it's a story as old as time, an act of rebellion that is actually like hoping someone will care, and no one cares, and then her parents are just using this as an opportunity to blame each other. He said that she's living with her mother and it didn't occur under his roof, therefore it's not his concern.
I mean,
and also last year she posted a TikTok claiming that while she was living with her mother, she was in an abusive household, and then she claimed that she moved out, had a quote spiritual awakening, and dropped out of high school. Still has not gone back to school.
Dude.
And
Poor thing.
her current living situation is not confirmed either way, but Page 6 had some unverified source that she moved back in with her mother within the last month. So now Charlie Sheen has the excuse that he doesn't know what's going on with her because
call
she's
her,
living with
dude.
mom.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that you can just absolve yourself of all responsibility because your child turned 18, what, like 3 months ago?
Yeah.
I thought van life was bad.
She
and,
turned
like,
18
too
in
much.
March.
Yeah.
Van life.
Yeah, I thought that was like the whole like that generation's escapism. That sounds
worse.
wholesome as hell.
My favorite were the videos where it's like what van life's really like, and it's just miserable for so many
Yeah,
of them.
it is.
It's so
You're
hard to actually keep up and
This
maintain.
story is so bad that Charlie Sheen is actually the good guy because her mom doesn't seem to care at all.
Is he
what she
really?
does.
I don't think
I
either of
he
them
is. I think he
care.
is. And he's right. His ex-wife is correct in that she's technically an adult, that she can do this if she wants to. He's making it clear that he doesn't like it. He doesn't approve it. He's telling her that she wants to maintain her dignity, but at the same time, it may be a custody thing that he's not able to like go and intervene. And besides, how do
Well,
you
she's
intervene?
18, so technically neither
Right.
of them have
I mean,
custody over her.
he said keep it classy.
Yeah. I
Like
know,
he's just
whatever.
deluding himself and coping
Maybe,
that
but at
she's
least
going
he's-
down this path.
At
and
least he's speaking out. You know, it's not very
not
much,
really.
but
It's just he couldn't. His condemnation of this is like
Very
so. Yeah, it's
very
so
tepid.
1 foot in, 1 foot out. He doesn't want to commit either way to approving or disapproving, and now he's just coping by saying that it's possible to sell content, quote unquote content of yourself in
a
that
classy
light, in a
way,
classy
yeah.
way. That's not
It's not
possible.
correct, yeah.
I mean, what do you do when you're a father and like they're asking you like a statement?
It's not like
about
he was
your-
ever a good role model.
No,
yeah.
no,
I'm
sure
always
he knows
surprised
that,
when these
yeah.
celebrities give like exclusive statements to these publications, because
Why do
if
they
it were
do
me,
that?
I would never.
for real.
No, yeah.
But they want attention so bad. I guess they
It's a
fall
way
for
of
it.
life, Mary.
I don't
Yikes,
know.
Cringe.
It's just really disheartening to see
Yeah, it makes me
this,
sad.
because she clearly comes from fame and privilege and doesn't need to. It's not like she's in a situation where she feels like financially desperate and is doing something she wouldn't otherwise do to survive. She's
That was my-
literally
Yeah.
just doing this
For
for
attention.
attention.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And it
it's a cry
shows
for
that
help.
she's actually like poor in a different way. Like no one like gives her any love
And attention
or
from like the
attention
worst
for-
people in the galaxy as well. Like
right,
Yeah.
right. Like she turned 18 in March,
right.
and she's already
June.
doing
She's already
this.
going for it.
dude who was subscribed to an OnlyFans.
So this strikes me as a classic case of fathers failing to fulfill a primary need in their kids' lives. I will be fully forthright with you guys and say that I was never ever tempted to do any of this. In fact, when Tim and I were first friends, I complained about this because these girls would make so much money, and I weighed, like $150, and I was like, man, I could do it if I wanted to. I would make so much. I wouldn't have to work 3 jobs and go to school at the same time, but I freaking won't. I will not do it because I had a strong father figure. Never at any point in my life did I feel like this was the path to go down, because I had my dad. My dad had my back. My dad trained me to see guys as being mostly positive with weaknesses, and it was very powerful. And I think I feel like girls today are falling apart in a large. Well, boys are too, but the lack of fathers is just a huge part of this problem. And I think Charlie is probably really regretful that he did so poorly by his daughter.
I don't
really
even
sad.
know if he is.
I hope
like
he is. I'm trying
his
to think he is.
reputation. People were saying that because his reputation is that he has engaged in so much debauchery with women that he really has no respect for them. And so how do you go from that to like being able, like how do you negotiate your past behavior towards women with the fact that your daughter is now a grown adult woman?
I would think he has to be regretful.
I mean, hopefully with the fact that like I was a laughing stock for like 3 years straight
Everyone hated
about
me.
how much of a degenerate I am.
Yeah,
Like he could go that route. I don't know.
that'd be one way to go.
He was kind of Amber Heard before Amber Heard was Amber Heard.
What?
It's kind of cringe.
What does that even mean?
He was an internet punchline based on his own comments.
Don't be
let
Charlie
alone,
Sheen.
Everyone's posting her quotes now, and back then it was stuff about him and winning. Also, they have both played two of the most unrealistic characters in human history. She played the most unrealistic nuclear physicist in human history.
That's right.
By that I mean Denise Richards as Dr. Christmas Jones in The World Is Not Enough. There has never been a less nuclear physicist-looking person than Denise Richards. And Charlie Sheen played... and there's a great joke at the end when James Bond is having sex with her, and he says, I thought Christmas only came once a year.
Okay, moving on.
And Charlie Sheen played Rick the Wild Thing Vaughn in Major League 2, where you find out that somehow horn-rimmed glasses can make you throw a fastball faster.
Oh, interesting.
Which also not really all that
Good
possible.
to know.
So that is my having no kids, being not a father.
But you don't need to, that's the thing. You don't need to have kids to know, to see this.
Oh,
this
no,
is a clear
I see it.
example
Of course not,
of, child neglect.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, page 6 calls this picture that she posted sultry. I would call it very sad. She looks very sad.
Her face is,
yeah,
disturbing.
horribly sad.
She
feel
doesn't
bad
look,
for her.
there's nothing. Thank you.
Woo, thank you.
She looks upset,
Blank stare.
blank,
Yeah,
and
very
she,
sad.
maybe almost muted in tone, she's
Yeah.
on something.
I hope
she looks like a
definitely.
girl whose parents allowed her to make an OnlyFans
Yeah.
at 18.
Her mom. Yeah, definitely.
Poor girl.
Horrible.
Both of
girl.
them. Both
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Do you want to go with that super chat?
Sure.
yeah.
1,000-foot deep end said, does Charlie actually care, or is he in reality apathetic and has only taken the stance opposite his ex simply to spite her?
Maybe.
That could be
That's what I'm leaning towards.
That seems more on par with like I said, if your relationship with your father, like you said, is your first great introduction as a girl to your ability to interact with the opposite sex, or your ability to understand self-worth.
He's role model.
He's not exactly. He wasn't exactly someone that would give her a shining example of how to value oneself or value the opposite
Dude,
sex.
it makes perfect sense that this is how she's responding based on how her dad was.
It's
We were
sad.
also talking about celebrity parents yesterday in the context of celebrity surrogacy.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
the trend that we're seeing is just that children for them are accessories or
For sure.
props
Yep.
for
Angelina
Radikowski.
Jolie, dude.
Dude, yes, we're Angelina Jolie, but Emily Ratajkowski. Have you ever seen her hold her son?
Yes.
Oh
That
It's like a
picture
bag.
is so
I
disturbing.
want someone to take that child from her. She holds it like a puppy or a bag, literally like an accessory. It's horrifying.
So odd.
I hate
I'm gonna
it so
find
much.
it.
She
It's
was
really
so
bad.
disturbed
How do you
that he
spell
was
her
a
name?
boy.
I never know how to.
R-A-T.
A J
Take it away, Anne Mary.
Emily
K
Rockin'
O
Bod.
W S K I.
Just type the first few letters and it'll pull it up.
I was not close. But that's all right.
We tried.
It's Emily, and then just
I
type
just put
rats.
Ratkowski.
Just like
Perfect.
slap the keyboard.
The keyword. a
What's
few
her?
times.
What's her?
It's RATAJKO.
She named her
Her
kid
named her kid
Sylvester
Sylvester. First of
Apollo
all,
Bear.
The first
What the
crime
frick?
against her son.
Who does
was
that?
His name. This lady.
Look at that one.
Self-obsessed.
The one thing they tell you when you hold a child is to hold
Support
his
the neck.
head.
Yes.
The only thing they tell you, and the baby's like,
They won't be
poor
able to
little
see it on
thing.
the. They won't be able to see it on the screen because of how Google does this. But
sorry.
Boo,
I can't
Google,
see it either.
it's
boo.
creepy. It's very creepy.
Can you click it?
It won't
you
go
go.
to the website.
And that's another thing
Dude.
that we were talking about with surrogacy, is that they're just choosing
Yeah.
that to preserve how they look
Yeah.
and have as
Like
much
that-
time as
That
possible
Asian
to
actress.
keep working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you can see the picture, guys. That's literally
You
what.
need to
Like,
see.
what
Yeah, there goes
is
his little head.
that?
He's like,
And that you would post that and think
poor
like
little
this
thing.
this is good. Like this is a good
look
picture
at
of
this
me and
new
my child.
accessory I got.
Baby by Prada.
Seriously. Yeah, baby by Prada. Yeah.
I can't even with this. I
It
can't even with
hurts,
this.
yeah.
All right, let's go and do Podluck then,
Woo,
shall
yeah.
we? All right, oh no, we had super chat there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I actually read that one.
Oh, did we read that one? Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Just we don't know if Charlie actually cares.
Right. Yeah.
Potluck,
yes.
potluck.
It's time.
Keep going, Dane.
That's the potluck song.
That's
It's
the
just
potluck
that.
Thank
song.
you.
That's it.
It's beautiful. All right, so Duke Nukem movie on the way from the creators of Netflix's best series. And if you're wondering what that best series was, that's Cobra Kai, which it is actually Netflix's best series. We were talking just a little bit earlier about Hollywood and the culture of guns. We also talked, there's a funny article the other day about, it was like a fake article from Screen Rant about Top Gun Maverick being toxic masculinity. And that was a joke. At least I think I couldn't find an actual article that thank you.
Well, thank God
that connected to it.
Because I know that you would be spitting fire right now.
That'd be great.
I'm gonna keep looking to. Maybe I missed it.
I'm gonna find
this is actual. If you looked up toxic masculinity in like Urban Dictionary, it should actually be a picture of Duke Nukem.
That's right.
Dane, you've played.
I have.
Yes.
Very misogynist.
Like some of my fondest memories are killing aliens in a strip club in Duke Nukem 64.
Doesn't get more wholesome
when he
than
goes, "Hail to the king, baby."
That's right.
It's like
classic.
He is the definition of.
Woo!
You said I wouldn't remember this, but I like that you guys are bonding over this character.
Yes.
I never played it. I just remember,
look at those graphics, and then like when you think the fact that Mary is like 2 years old, like you look at those graphics, you just know like, that's not actually going to be something that she would understand. She'd be like, "Why is it so pixelated?"
So as promised, I held my specie take until this moment.
Specie?
Go for it.
This.
Yes,
so
it's time.
my theory. So as you know, Duke Nukem remake or movie or anything has literally been discussed for decades.
And cursed.
Yeah.
Decades. So obviously, because as culture is getting woker, like Duke Nukem becomes
less and less viable.
But I think this is the sign that the culture's turning.
Maybe you're right.
Because I swear, I think they got to the point where like market research shows that literally everyone hates us. Look, it's a chart of stonks. People hate us.
Stock, not stonks.
And I think this may be them. Is like, hey guys, we get it. You know, let's start it off with a bang and like put a hella hilarious misogynist.
There better be
right.
so much alien death and so many one-liners and so much strip club violence.
Okay,
otherwise,
Charlie Sheen.
Otherwise, it is not Duke Nukem.
Imagine if he's like, I've rethought my relationship with women through therapy.
I'm telling you, what they need to do is make old man Nukem with Dolph Lundgren. Do that. Yes, he's got the haircut and everything.
Did you say that Duke Nukem is like Grand Theft Auto, but like on steroids?
No, that's all. I was just trying to think of it. It's basically like a precursor to like Grand Theft Auto in a way, just by the fact that it was extremely vulgar and extremely hyper masculine.
It's like the original Raunchy game.
Yeah.
So
it says, according to the report from Deadline, Josh Heald, John Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg, the creative team behind Cobra Kai, are producing the film with Legendary Entertainment. Developing is in the early stages, and it's not clear who will be writing and directing the feature. That is where you have to pay very, 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 very close attention. When I will hold my opinion until we find out who the hell is actually going to write this movie. Now, if they got the Halo, if they got the writer of the original Deadpool and John Wick to write it, maybe that could be great. That could be great.
How was Cobra Kai with the whole virtue signaling thing? I didn't watch it.
Incredible.
Was it good without it?
It was incredible. First off, they made fun of it.
Cool.
And they explain that I was about to curse.
It's diverse without virtue signaling and while making fun of wokeness.
I know what you meant to say telepathically.
I know you do. It was explaining that like reprehensible children use it as an excuse to seem like morally pious when in fact that they are the bullies.
Wow.
That is what they did in Cobra
I love
Kai.
it.
And they also did like a cute little thing out that boomers like just don't get it.
Like, that's a big part of it.
That makes me optimistic. I guess we'll have to see about this.
It rules. I love Cobra Kai.
It's also a very rare example where almost everybody in the show is redeemed and redeemable. There's very little in the way of like it's a very gray show. Like the main character, he's not like good. He's not like, he's annoying, kind of.
Do you mean Johnny?
Johnny's
okay. Wait,
no, not Johnny. I'm blanking on his name.
Daniel.
Daniel is annoying. Daniel, the main...
They kind of made him annoying. He's not that much like how his character was in the original movies.
But the idea is that he grew into that he grew up to be that because he never lost.
But what about the original instructor of
Miyagi?
No, not Miyagi.
The psycho guy?
Even that guy gets redeemed.
John something.
Even that guy gets redeemed.
Dude, but Johnny is like... That show did something that blew my mind. Because the show starts with him explaining why, from his point of view, Daniel's son is actually the jerk. Mm-hmm. And it makes complete sense. It's like, this kid comes in, he's hitting on my girlfriend. Yeah. He, like, steals her from me. He's, like, clowning me in front of my boys. Obviously, I'm going to kick his ass. And I'm like...
I love that.
I never thought of it that way.
Very
I would completely kick his ass too if I was in his scenario. Are you kidding me? And then, oh my God, he's
strike
just like...
first, strike hard, no mercy.
That's
for
right.
real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
John Kreese actually ends up getting redeemed towards the end. Yeah,
that's great.
I liked his storyline in Cobra Kai.
The other guy, now I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
He was like a non-vet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and like him, and then man, maybe I should rewatch it when I get
you should.
Here
really
today.
It's beautiful. It's like people are the way they are for a reason.
That's a great storyline.
And that is not what they're gonna do with the gun stuff. They're gonna be like unrelatable, impossible to explain bad person that has like no background beyond being a Gen 6.
Terry Silver. The guy who plays the one who trained, who started the gym with Kreese, he ends up being the bad guy in the later seasons. And now they're worrying about will they even be able to redeem him in season 5.
Interesting.
And all the characters are shades of gray, and it's done very very well. Duke Nukem doesn't really need to be shades of gray.
Fine.
He can just be kind of just misogynistic, masculine,
be evil.
And violent.
It's okay.
He's cartoonish.
He's still a
evil.
good guy.
He's an anti-hero.
He's just So they can do this. So we'll see if this team can actually make it work.
I am kind of optimistic. Feels like it has potential.
All right. Bam Margera is missing.
No.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
We actually talked about when he first got sober. He got sober, and he had done like was it a month or something out of rehab. Now he was in like he got hurt skating recently, and now apparently he's been living in like an outpatient facility. And he had an argument with his wife, and now
how old is he?
He's in his late 30s, I believe.
Late 30s. Really?
Damn, he looks horrible.
He's been living rough.
They would call that 40 the hard way.
Yeah, that would be a high risk lifestyle.
Yeah.
Oh,
So look how young he looks in those pictures.
Yeah.
And I will not proselytize today about drugs and stuff like that. But I
sucks.
hope they find him and get him back on track, because in the early stages of recovery, that is like the most precarious time to have any type of fallout with a family member or any type of severe stressor. Can be very very bad when you haven't developed your coping mechanisms and your ability to deal with those stressors as they come. Those form over time, and it really takes a period of time for that to cement and become part of your routine.
Yeah, it seems like you're rewriting such a big part of the way you live your life. So any kind of stress, that could be a big problem.
The most messed up, he was like the poster child for the franchise. Like so handsome, so charismatic. Yep. Like he had all this energy. And now, like, he can barely, like, get through a sentence. Yeah. And it's so disturbing.
That's hard to see.
It says, in any case, the staff didn't see Bam as he didn't appear to be a danger to himself or others. Cops did go looking for him that day, but so far they've come up empty-handed. If he is not court mandated, he doesn't have to be there. He can leave anytime he wants. Yeah. Sources close to Bam tell TMZ he was currently staying at a sober living facility and had recently got into an argument with his wife. We're told he did have issues with the facility's restrictions and had the impulsive made the impulsive decision to leave. Very, very common early on, especially if I don't know how I can't speak to how serious he was about his recovery, but that's a big problem a lot of times. If you're court mandated, right? You have a very hard time sticking to rules that you're already not wanting to be hard up by because you don't want to be there. If you make the decision to go to rehab, those rules may suck, but you understand that they're rules that you have to obey in service of getting sober, getting clean, and moving on with your life. If he had not fully committed to it, it's very realistic to believe that he has since moved on and is not fully committed.
Okay, question. Wait, hold on, Dane. Hold this thought just 1 second. Brett and everybody else here, do you guys think that the involuntary commitment should be brought back for people who have serious addictions and problems with adhering to rehab.
Doesn't that exist already, or is that only for like 72-hour holds?
I don't think it exists in any real scale. I think this is part of the homeless problem.
Thank you.
Woo, thank you. Like, we lack a very good way to enforce involuntary commitment.
Without a crime being committed.
Well, I thought it was the criteria was only if you're at risk of hurting yourself or others,
Well,
and they can
for a
only
psych
hold
hold.
you. Yeah, they can only hold you
a lot of
limited time.
A lot of rehab commitments come from crimes. The judge sentences them to rehab rather than jail. Right. So a lot of the people who end up in rehab because of the law are not committed to wanting to be there. It's the only option other than going to jail, and they're not committed to the process because they have not yet accepted that they need the help. And that makes them flight risks. If he voluntarily checked in, but is still struggling and had something very serious happen in his personal life, it is a very common thing for somebody to skip.
Right, but it doesn't even have to be very serious.
No.
At that point, it can be really small stressor that you just gets blown totally out of proportion.
Family is a big part of that.
I know your peeps.
He was desperately trying to get back at the Jackass movies. Desperately. So I know the initial reason, the motivation to be in rehab was that.
Well, no, that was worse. That was they made him take meds. I was actually vehemently against all that. I don't think he should have been involved in that project to begin with. They made him take antidepressants. I don't think that the studio has a right to assign him a doctor that's going to give them the diagnosis they want. Yeah. Drug testing him every day, absolutely.
Yeah,
if the idea here is that he is costing you money, yes,
sure.
Drug test him every day, but force feeding him
meds.
Every day is excessive.
Happened where one of the drug tests that he took
positive.
Found the prescription.
Yeah. No, it found his Adderall that he was prescribed by another doctor that wasn't prescribed from the.
That's still a prescription you're supposed to be taking.
There's different schools of thought on that. If you're at least from if we were looking at it from the rehab perspective, some places once you're in outpatient treatment, if it wasn't I was they wanted to give me my Adderall back after I went to rehab.
No, I shouldn't.
I said I should not do that because a big part of my issues came from Adderall and stimulants making it impossible for me to calm down, which is where my substance abuse problems came from.
I need to go up, and then I also need to come down.
So I had to say no to that. He, if he's in there for drugs, it does not mean, if he's taking his stimulants and then at the end of the day he's still wired, it's very easy. Even if you can't get other stuff, okay, I'll have a drink to calm down.
That's not any better.
And you can't do that.
Better.
Not in that case. So I don't know if he was doing the quote unquote California sober thing. That's BS too. It's okay
California sober.
Where it's they basically say that it's okay to smoke weed and it's okay to drink once in a while, but you can't do the other stuff. Some people might be able to do that, but those people tend to be someone that was less addicted
very
to begin
high
with.
Functioning.
Yeah.
But is it possible, to get sober on other stuff on Adderall? If I didn't, I'm guessing the doctor that prescribed it would have had the context, no?
Not necessarily. The doctor might not have known. Plenty of doctors wouldn't have known about his unless he's
but
passed.
Of him, famous guy.
I mean,
it depends on the person.
That depends. Not to mention, it's Hollywood. He could have just found a doctor that gave him what he wants.
Yeah, the studio could have done the same.
Yeah.
They're we want him to have
what they did.
antidepressants. Yeah,
exactly.
literally what they did. That seems unethical.
Well, it's hard because I know they had to be really strict about his involvement in the project, but at the same time, kicking him off would then cause him more stress.
Yeah.
It's
so
not
you
their
can't
job
win.
and
it's not their job to overlook him.
Yep.
But now it's worse because nobody is checking up on him.
It would have been better. Well, and remember, this incident now is well past that time. We're long past Jackass. I think the best thing they could have done is not involve him in the movie to begin with. I think they should have just left him off.
They had a Ryan Dunn tribute who was his best friend.
Yeah. Yep.
This seems so
That's
much
why he
stressful.
had to. I disagree with you because they had a tribute of his best friend.
Yep.
That rest in peace. They had to have him, in my opinion, just out of respect for Ryan Dunn.
This must have been hard because it says that he had just recently completed a year of substance abuse treatment, and so a year. And he was still. That's interesting because usually you don't live in a sober facility a year on. Usually it's right after you get out of treatment, you spend a month, maybe 90 days if you have really great insurance, doing something like that.
Well, he obviously has money.
Yeah.
Maybe he just felt safer there.
I don't know if it was court mandated. I don't believe it was. But he recently also had an accident skateboarding where he broke his wrist and elbow, and then he was saying that the facility was not setting up his physical therapy appointments. So this could also be a case where it's partially him not handling it well, and it's also partially could be shoddy facility work.
It's probably more than one person's fault.
Yeah,
we'll put it that way.
mean, it's still on him.
Right.
He still made the choice to leave. So don't. I'm always hesitant to put the blame somewhere else when he still had to make that decision to get up and leave.
But
if we find out later that the facility did something awful, maybe, but he still needs to take responsibility for his actions. And none of this is to say that that he's not even still sober. They're just saying he left without telling anyone.
He's gone. He's out.
So
that sucks.
Yes.
Best wishes.
What were you saying?
But when you're indicating that he was in that like sober home for way longer than they're supposed to be, it just makes me think like they're pawning him off. Like his family's like tired of dealing with him. It's like, listen, just stay here forever. Like,
well,
that's sad.
Until you're fixed.
That's an expensive thing to do. And if you want to finish on a more depressing but hilarious note,
sure.
Mark Curry says stop complaining about gas prices.
Thank you, Mark. I will.
He's commanding the plebs.
That's right.
Travel less, ride a bike, he says. It says Mark Curry is fed up with folks complaining about high gas prices, insisting that drivers should just fill up their tanks and get over it. We caught up with the Hanging with Mr. Cooper actor at LAX on Monday, and he gave us a piece of his mind about the soaring gas prices and how they should be handled. Well, tell us, Mark, how should we...
tell us.
How should us, the plebs, deal with this?
Preach.
Well, Mark tells us Americans shouldn't look at the price of gas because it makes no difference. He says,
I get it if his point is that you have to buy it anyway.
You get a choice.
He says, we've been dealing with high gas prices for years, so there's no point in worrying about it now. No, we have not.
This. That is incorrect.
As far as the folks who simply can't afford it, Mr. Curry insists that he feels their pain, but we have to pay anyways. Clearly, he doesn't have much sympathy. Instead, he says, folks should go to less places, drive slower, ride a bike, or even steal a car if it's that bad.
What?
They say jokingly. In
okay,
there.
he better be.
Of course, his hot takes come a little over a year after he shared his candid thoughts on high gas prices when he was interviewed for a local news station. It was actually pretty funny at first. The reporter didn't seem to recognize him. That's because nobody's cared about Hanging with Mr. Cooper since the 1990s.
Here's the thing. I want to change his headline to say, Mark Curry, who is worth $5 million. Is
that his net worth?
That's his net worth. I just looked it up. Says not to worry about high gas prices. You have to pay it anyway. After all, you could just steal a car.
Just buy an electric car, they tell you.
Yeah.
Just buy an electric car.
You don't have to look at the gas prices.
It'll be fine.
You know, from the faction that's constantly talking about historic first, you think they'd comprehend like historic first gas prices.
Yeah, you would think so.
You would think.
Good point.
Haven't you ever seen that meme that says like we finally reached the gas prices that were shown on screen in World War Z or something?
No, it was I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
We have reached I Am Legend gas prices.
Zombies next.
Do you guys remember that interview of all of those celebrities where they asked them, like, how much does cereal cost?
Yes, this is exactly
how much
that.
does milk cost?
Right.
No.
And they thought it was like $12 for a box of Cheerios or something.
Imagine how many like assistants just rip them the frick off.
Brett, this is Arrested Development. How much can a banana cost? $10? Sure. Yeah, exactly.
They did the same thing with Bill Gates, where they asked him like, "What's the price of milk?" And he's like, "I don't know, $7 a gallon."
I hope not. Jeez, I was getting there.
So yes. So thank you, Mr. Curry. I will just buckle down and just accept my fate because you said so.
Thanks, Mark.
After all, Hanging with Mr. Cooper was fantastic. So there were some super chats there. There was at least one or two more.
Yeah. Foot Deep End said, I could be wrong, but I believe I read that Catherine Zeta-Jones delivered her children several months early to try to preserve her figure.
Oh, wow.
That is absolutely insane if true.
That's
and
dystopian
seems illegal.
Yeah. That's like medical malpractice.
Seems illegal.
So unethical.
Let's we'll find out if that's true.
I'm gonna look that up.
We'll look into that. Thank you.
It did work though.
I mean, good for her.
Kintoki said, "Say the line, Duke. Blow it out your bleep."
Blow it out your bleep. There's one up there. It says, "I love."
I'm not reading that.
Yes.
Let's not read that.
But thank you for the super chat.
K2X said,
appreciated.
Dane, you're alive. We were afraid that you had served as a party snack on Mary's Extra Giddy Monday.
Oh my.
Yeah, they were like, what's in Dane's blood that she's this like high on it?
What?
Hi, Lydia and Sir Brett.
Hello.
Your darkness.
Sir Brett, that can be my nickname.
What about my blood?
I like the dark
They believed
vibes.
that I like drank your blood.
And you were gone because
And
she
you were
drained
like dead.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's perfectly consensual.
My
Yeah,
nickname
okay.
here is Dracula Lady.
I
So
like that.
That is Luke's nickname.
That adds up.
And Dane is now.
Zane.
Zane.
I can't believe I'm the
Zane.
only
I
one
love
with a
it,
somewhat
Zane.
flattering nickname
I like it.
out of
Zane's
all
good.
of us.
And I'm not. I refuse to acknowledge my nickname.
Yours is the worst for
let's
sure.
not.
It is
Let's
not
leave
a,
it alone.
It's not a
I
thing.
cannot confirm that Catherine Zeta-Jones delivered her children.
That
early on
definitely
purpose.
sounds like it breaks
That's
several
nuts.
laws.
But I could see people like this doing something like this. To be
I
fair.
mean, I know that some people get C-sections that are not medically necessary
Sure.
for the same
that's a
reason.
little different. I think.
I mean,
disagree?
it's less threatening to the health of the
Right.
babies, but it's still like if it's not medically necessary, why are
do it?
you
Yeah.
doing it? Because they get the procedure that is a C-section and a tummy tuck, like at the same time.
Oh, that's so shallow. Did you know if you have a C-section, your child does not have the same immune
Yep.
system that they would have
Yep.
otherwise? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a problem. It's not good. You need to think about your kid.
Is it way worse?
Yeah, it's worse. It's
How
much
come?
worse.
You don't have the
because you're
same
not
like
covered with the
immunities,
goop
and
when you come out.
also like it
That's why.
compresses the child's lungs
You're
so they
welcome.
can clear their lungs.
Yeah, there's
better.
more than one reason.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine, but just bike to the hospital
okay.
Yeah.
when you have to go
If you're
give
in labor,
birth.
Yeah, when
Just
you're
pause
9
between
months pregnant,
contractions.
why aren't you biking to the
Bike
hospital?
to the hospital because Mark Curry says that you should do that, pleb.
All right.
Uh,
okay,
Yeah.
$5 million man.
Learn, peasants.
Yeah.
like it would be like Amber Heard saying like, why would you complain about a full airplane? Why not just take a private jet?
Yeah.
I take private jet places. Why don't you take private jets places?
What are you thinking?
Sorry, we don't have Space Daddy to buy us
Right.
flights, private
Seriously.
flights. Or I assume Space Daddy. I don't know how she can afford that now, given that she owes Johnny Depp a bunch of money. So. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for
Lydia,
having
tell
me.
everyone where they can find you.
You guys may find me on Twitter and minds.com at sourpatchlids. I'm also at sourpatchlids.me, where you can find pictures of my cat, Dip, who's fantastic and or maybe plotting to kill me.
Yes, I saw the one yesterday.
Yeah,
that
he's
was
creepy.
that was a
Little
good one.
creeper.
All right, Dane, where can they find you?
At Dane Fun on Twitter.
Woo!
Short, sweet, to the point.
Thank you for
Love
that.
it.
It's a beautiful thing. Mary.
You can find me on Instagram or WeChat at Closer Kitty. And whenever I post articles on timcast.com, I promote them there. The one today being about Charlie Sheen's daughter's OnlyFans.
Sad.
It's always dark stuff.
It is. It's literally always dark stuff.
Sorry.
That's what it is. It's never anything fun. Maybe
Oops.
someday.
Except for Chet Hanks.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
He is great.
We
do
got to get
love
Chet
him.
Hanks on.
We do.
Guys, all right, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic for the show. We are here Monday through Friday on YouTube, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 12 p.m. Pacific. We are also on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, all those places if you'd rather listen rather than watch. It's a beautiful thing as well, just in a different way. We are on social media. We are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at popculturecrisis, and on Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.